Good morning, everyone. Hi. This week we're going to try something a little bit different. So we're going to be looking at a type of story, and we're going to be thinking about the plot or the narrative, how the story works together. So essentially, we're going to summarize the main points of the story. Now, when you're in year 2 and the beginning of year 3, we used to use a story mounting with what happens, the build up, then the resolution, and then the end of the story. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to be looking at something called a wishing tale. So a type of story where the main character really, really wants something, and then something gets in his way or her way, and then eventually something happens and the main character gets what he wants. Now, there are lots of type of stories that follow this path, and the one we're going to look at today is the Billy Goat's Gruff. Okay, so let's have a look at what we're doing. So we're looking at the basic plot of a wishing tale. Now, this is our learning journey. In school, do you remember we have a learning journey? It kind of builds up lots of little ideas into one final piece of writing. So for today, we're reading stories, using voices, and we're going to discuss the story. Then we're going to be, hopefully as a bit of homework, finding other stories that follow the same pattern. And I'll show you a couple at the end that follow the same basic pattern. Then on Thursday, we're going to write the opening to our story. Then next Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll write the middle of our story and the end of our story. And then after that, we're going to have 3 lessons where we turn the story on its head and we change bits of it and we make it our own. Okay, so the first week we're going to be practicing looking at stories, practicing rewriting the same story with our own little changes, and then the following week we're going to completely adapt the plot and rewrite it completely. Okay, so to start with, let's read a story. So just need to move me, sorry. Once upon a time, there were 3 Billy Goats Gruff. The goats lived in a bleak field that extended alongside a riverbank. Hardly any grass grew there, but on the opposite side of the river, the land was abundant and green. "I'm hungry," bleated the smallest Billy Goat Gruff. He decided to trot over the bridge and eat the grass on the other side. The smallest Billy Goat Gruff went trip trap, trip trap, trip trap over the bridge. See the power of 3 there? Up ahead, he could see a lush field full of good things to eat. Well, before he got to the other side, a loud roar came from beneath the bridge. The little Billy Goat Gruff stopped. I imagine he was shaking. The Billy Goat's Gruff did not realize that it was an enchanted bridge. A brutal troll resided underneath it, eating up anyone who attempted to cross over to the other side. "What shall I do?" whispered the little Billy Goat Gruff. When he peered over the side, he could see the troll resting below with a fishing rod. The troll looked irritated and mean. He had a big red nose, wonky teeth, and a shaggy black beard that was matted with knots. "I'm hungry," he grumbled. "What am I going to eat?" It had been several days since he had last had a meal. He was in a very bad temper. The smallest Billy Goat Gruff gulped and then made a dash for the other side. The troll was on the bridge instantly. "Who's that trip-trapping over my bridge?" he screamed. "I'm gonna gobble you up." The little Billy Goat Gruff thought quickly. "Don't eat me," he pleaded. "I'm only tiny. Just wait for my big brother. He's much fatter than me." The troll rubbed his chin. Eventually, he let the smallest Billy Goat Gruff go on his way. The middle Billy Goat Gruff noticed his small brother grazing in the lavish meadow on the other side of the bridge. The grass appeared green and appealing. "I'm hungry," the middle Billy Goat Gruff announced in a loud voice. He chose to cross the bridge as well. The middle Billy Goat Gruff went trip trap, trip trap, trip trap, repetition for effect there, over the bridge. His belly rumbled when he smelled the fresh field in front. Beneath the bridge, the troll heard every step. His eyes gleamed with pleasure. The troll jumped onto the bridge. "Who's that trip-trapping over my bridge?" he screamed. "I'm gonna gobble you up." The middle Billy Goat Gruff walked back. The troll blocked the bridge. He pointed a rotten fingernail at the goat, his eyes filled with menace. The Billy Goat Gruff was equally as clever as his brother. "Don't eat me," he replied. "I'm only middle-sized. Just watch for my big brother. He's much heavier compared to me." The troll looked over at the biggest Billy Goat Gruff and licked his lips. The middle Billy Goat Gruff continued his way. The biggest Billy Goat Gruff craned his neck to check how his brothers were faring. The goats were ambling lazily across the field on the reverse side of the river, eating their fill of green grass. "I'm hungry," he announced. The troll got excited when he saw the biggest Billy Goat Gruff crossing the bridge. He's thinking, yeah, I'm going to get my belly full right now. The biggest Billy Goat Gruff went trip trap, trip trap, trip trap over the bridge. He could not wait to have his very first mouthful of refreshing grass. Suddenly, the troll hurled himself into the goat's way. "Who's that trip-trapping over my bridge?" he exploded. "I'm gonna gobble you up." No, you're not," yelled the biggest Billy Goat Gruff. The troll dropped his cutting knife and fork as the goat lowered his head and sprinted towards him. The biggest Billy Goat Gruff smashed into the troll with his horns and propelled him into the river. The three brothers witnessed the troll crash with a massive splash, vanishing without a trace, possibly never to be seen again. And because this is a fairy tale, we should probably say, "And the three Billy Goats Gruff lived happily ever after." Okay, so that's the end of the story. Now we're going to have a look at the basic plot, okay? So, the basic plot of the story. The main character wants something, and she tries to get it. But she can't just get it given to her straight away. She's prevented by some kind of difficulty. So if we look at our story, the main character is the three Billy Goats Gruff, and they all want something. And the first one tries to get it, and she's prevented or stopped by the troll. She overcomes the difficulty by essentially suggesting the troll eat her older brother. And then she gets what she wants. And the pattern repeats itself. The next main character wants something, gets blocked, overcomes the difficulty, and then gets what she wants. And then the third Billy Goat Gruff wants something, tries to get it, is prevented, does something horrible, kills the troll, and then gets what she wants. And was it worth it? I think all three goats would probably say yes. So that's our main plot. Someone wants something, it's difficult to get, and then they get it. Okay? So, what I would like you to do today is draw out or plan the Billy Goats Gruff story. So we know the Billy Goats Gruff story, and we're going to be rewriting it in our own way. Okay, we can probably change characters, make the troll more fearsome. We're going to improve the writing. Okay, so what I want you to do is it looks a little bit like this. Okay, so plan out your story and do it quite big. I much prefer doing it quite big. Okay. So what I've come up with is this. This is what my first page looks like, okay? I've got my picture of the Billy Goats Gruff. I've got his daydreaming. I've got my plot reminder, wants something. And then all the way around it, I've put ideas, phrases, words that I would use in my story if I was going to rewrite that one. Okay, so I wrote that story, but I think we could make it much, much better, okay, by using better language and some of our skills, okay? So around the outside, I put daydreaming, mouth-watering, lush grass, because that's what he's thinking. And he's staring longingly, okay? He wants that grass, okay? All right? And then I thought about using my senses. So my main character, he can smell the fragrance of the grass. Like perfume, it tickles his senses. It floats towards him like a dream. So there I've got a simile as well. Like perfume, it tickles his senses, okay? Because I'm thinking about the type of phrases I might want to use. And then once I got a few down, I started to kind of think, well, okay, the pull of the delicious grass was too much for him. He steps forward, anxious, shaking, trembling. He's worried. He knows there's a troll underneath the bridge. But the thought of something sweet and delicious is too much for him. He's got to go and do something. So that's the beginning one. Then my next one would be a picture of the troll on the bridge. And I'd come up with some words to describe my loathsome troll. These disgusting, dirty fingers, okay? Maybe thinking about his foul breath and his bald head, and maybe imagine he looks a bit like Mr. Fletcher. Okay, so by the end of it, you should have a couple of pictures with some speech, colour them in nicely so I can see it. And the reason I want them full size is, one, I find it easier to get all my work written around it if I show you my one like that, okay? And also because of what's happening at the moment, and I'm getting pictures on emails from your mums, dads, and adults, it's easier for me to look at them if they're taking pictures and they're big, rather than little kind of story ideas like we normally do in class, okay? So that's why I want them all big. So I know a couple of you probably got a bit confused during the lesson this morning, so I thought I'd re-elaborate. This is what I want your work to look like, okay? So let's reiterate. I think this is important. Make them full size, add lots of detail. And not just words, not just adjectives. Think about phrases as well. Think about, in the original story, you've got trip, trap, tripping, trip, trap, tripping. You've got that kind of power of three and repetition for effect. What sentences or phrases are you going to add to your version of Billy Goat's Gruff that gets you using some repetition for effect, okay? And think about your senses. Okay, this is your work for the day. So by the end of today or tomorrow, by Thursday, I should have 4 full pages, okay? And I'd love you to send them to me so other children can see the examples, okay? And then, if you get time, a little bit of homework for you, okay? I'd really like you to come up with a list of other wishing tales that follow the same pattern, okay? Can you draw out the plot, full size? Does your wishing tale differ in any way? Okay, and you could write down. So I've done an example for you. Okay, so these 4 stories here all follow the same example. They're a bit longer than my version of Billy Goat's Gruff, but I can definitely recommend Giraffes Can't Dance, because the giraffe desperately wants to dance and he can't. Okay, the other animals laugh at him. And he overcomes this difficulty with a little bit of help from a friend. And then eventually he gets to dance and everyone is wowed by his dancing. Do watch that on YouTube because it's really, really good. It's definitely worth going, okay? Then Wombat Stew, just up there, has got a really lovely theme of language. Now, you may have noticed I do like a bit of alliteration. And Wombat Stew has got lots of alliteration, lots of repetition for effect. It's a fun story, okay? And Jungle Drums is exactly the same. So if I move myself over to Jungle Drums over here. Okay, exactly the same. You can find this on YouTube as well. There's a cartoon version of it, okay? And it's really good to have a watch and have a think. And then maybe you could draw out your examples, okay? Right, lesson 2, we'll stop there, okay? So I do hope everybody has a go at that. And if you could send them to me by tomorrow so I could put them on the blog, that would be fantastic, okay? And I know mums, dads, adults, this was a little bit different this morning, so my apologies. I'm probably going to break the lessons up into 2 groups. So I've got 10 children at 9 o'clock and 10 children at 10 o'clock, and I'll teach the lesson and then I'll record it. And Mr. West has just spoken to me. He's happy to do some maths lessons as well. Okay, so hopefully by next week or the week after, we'll be having me doing literacy, Mr. West doing some maths lessons at home to take some of the pressure off. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Stay safe, and I miss you as always. All right, bye-bye.